What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average, ordinary American here today to react to 10 reasons why the UK is the best country in the world? How dare you? How dare you even suggest such a thing? Okay, I'm just kidding. I'm perfectly willing to entertain the notion that the UK is certainly better at some things than the United States, maybe worse in other areas, and the United States is probably better at some things. I mean, just talking about the world in general, right? Lots of countries probably have things that are better than others. They do things worse than others, better. Maybe we can all get along, but you know what? Getting along is boring. So, so I'm here to learn. Maybe I'll be persuaded why 10 reasons why the UK is the best country in the world, you know? I'm open-minded. At the very least, I'm probably about to learn some really cool things about the United Kingdom that I didn't know before. So, yeah, I'm actually quite interested in if I'll be persuaded, you know? So let's check it out.
In case you didn't know, the United Kingdom is a sovereign country. It is a nation within its own government and has a seat at the United Nations.
You know, it's funny that they're referring to the UK as a country and even a nation. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, because isn't England a nation, a country? Scotland is a country. Northern Ireland, Wales are all countries, yet this video is referring to the UK as a country, so I've always kind of wondered that. Anyway, getting off topic here. I gotta reel it back in.
Its full name is the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Great Britain is the larger island that contains Scotland, England, and Wales.
Now this, funny enough, as I've kind of alluded to in other videos, most Americans don't know this at all. I'd say the vast majority of Americans do not know that England is different than the UK, and that is different than Great Britain, that there are differences. We just use the words interchangeably. So, I don't know. Maybe our ignorance on that matter is already the zero reason why UK is the best country in the world, because Americans can't even get basic geography through our tiny American brains. No, I'm already being converted. No.
And then the United Kingdom contains Northern Ireland too. Hey guys, Sam here from the Geography Bible. I hope you are having a fantastic week wherever in the world you may be. In this video, we will give you 10 reasons why we think the UK as a whole is the greatest nation or nations in the world. Now, of course, just like any other country in the world, the nations that make up the UK are not perfect and they have plenty of issues of their own.
You know, this video is for fun. Let's be honest, we're having fun here. Little friendly competition. But I like that they mention this. Every nation has their downfalls, the things that they do very well, you know, so I think we can all at least agree on that.
And Britain has a very turbulent past. Throughout this video, we will try to stay out of politics and keep it quite light-hearted. So let's kick off this video with number 10, the accent and language. Although most of the world thinks that the British people all sound like the Queen or news reporters, this couldn't be any further from the truth.
Accents and language. So he's really about to argue here that an accent can be like the best accent. I don't know. I mean, if you ask me and most Americans, yeah, most Americans would say the English accent in particular is very nice. Makes you sound quite proper, quite educated. These might be generalizations, but Americans do love a good English accent. And I mean, a Scottish accent we just think is cool. An Irish accent we think is cool. I couldn't tell you what a Wales accent is. Sorry.
Yes, there are many people who speak the Queen's English, also known as received pronunciation. However, with so much history...
There's a difference? There's a Queen's English? Like a different accent? I'd like to hear that. I didn't know that.
history and different regions across the UK, you will find many different accents and dialect. From Scouse in Liverpool to Geordie in Newcastle to Glaswegian in Glasgow, every accent sounds completely different from one another.
Wow, is there a video lining up all the different accents of the United Kingdom back to back? Because I feel like all I ever hear is American accents, and there is variation within American accents, so I think there you go. If I actually think a little about it, relate it to something that I can kind of understand, I guess that's the equivalent. Different American accents are what UK citizens would kind of think about United Kingdom accents. I feel like, though, as an American, I would have an extremely difficult time detecting the subtle nuance between the different UK accents, but I'd love to hear them.
You can literally drive 30 to 60 minutes away from where you live, and you will find someone with a completely different accent to your own. The UK is also extremely multicultural, so you will find many different international accents across the country too. Number 9, it's breathtaking.
That's another thing about he just kind of glossed over. How you can drive around the UK in a few hours and get to totally different dialects and ways of speaking, different cultures. It's not thought about much in America. How you can just drive around the UK and everything is relatively close together. I'm generalizing. In the United States, it takes hours and hours, 12 hours, 16 hours to drive, from one side to the other. It would take a day or two. So it's actually super cool that thinking about living on an island where you could feasibly get around to everything quickly. That's like awesome. Like I can't even relate to that really. That's like we can travel from state to state because bordering states that are close together, and that would kind of make a fun trip or something, but certainly not big city to big city like maybe you could feasibly do in the UK. It's kind of cool.
Scenery. The UK is home to some of the most beautiful...
Hold on.
Number 9, it's breathtaking scenery. The UK is home to some of the most beautiful scenery in Europe, if not the world, especially in Scotland. The first thing people think of when they think of the UK is probably London.
Is this London? Wow. It looks so modern. I don't know, like, Americans don't have a good picture in their mind when they think of London. They actually think historic. They think old. So, I mean, if I spent 2 seconds looking at modern-day London, it would make sense that a lot of the buildings and architecture had probably been built, somewhat recently. Skyscrapers. Look at some of these buildings on the right there. That one looks like a rocket ship over here. And this one has a curve to it? And this cone? I never knew. I mean, okay.
Urban concrete jungle. However, if you adventure outside of the capital, you'll find some absolute...
This is the kind of thing that takes my breath away more than a fancy city. Like, you don't get this, maybe in very, very certain parts of the US, but you don't get beautiful, like, undulated, mountainous character, mountainsides, and far greenlands with character to them. It's just beautiful.
Absolutely stunning countryside. The UK also has incredible beaches too, from the tropical setting in St Ives in the Scilly Islands to the pristine white sand you will find in the northwest of Scotland.
Okay, I think the UK might win this one. From what I can tell, this is a curated list of pictures that are beautiful, so maybe this isn't fair, but this stuff is beautiful, and it looks probably on average a lot cooler than a lot of the American sites I've seen.
The Isles off the Scottish Highlands, such as the Isle...
Like this thing? Oh, beautiful. I just want to cliff dive off there and hopefully not come to my early death hitting those stones at the bottom there, but at least I would be able to soak in the beauty of the terrain here before my untimely death.
Isle of Skye offers some of the most breathtaking views you will ever see. Number 8,
Yeah.
it has different countries. The UK comprises
Right.
of 4 different nations.
Yeah. I was kind of alluding to this at the earlier in this video. That's so cool. And I also don't quite understand how it all works, but it's really cool how there's 4 countries.
Each with their own culture, history, and dialects. And although they claim to hate each other, I think this is generally
Wait, do they claim to hate each other? Is this a thing? Is that a thing? Why? Why? I mean, is it like brotherly love? Like your brother, like you hate him, you wrestle with him, you teach him what's what, give him a piece of your mind because you're related, but at the end of the day, y'all love each other. Is that the relationship, or does the 4 countries of the UK just not care for each other much? I don't know. I have no idea. I'd be interested to know.
myth which is exaggerated on social media. I've met other. I think this is generally a myth which is exaggerated on social media.
Okay, so he's saying it's blown out of proportion. That's good.
I've met so many incredible and friendly people from Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland who are very similar to me, but with just a different accent. Each country is rather similar. They usually have 1 or 2 large main cities, then plenty of smaller, charming towns and villages with beautiful countryside in between. Number 7.
That's cool that everyone actually... I thought it was probably exaggerated to be funny that the UK, different countries don't care for each other, but when you're that close together and you're all part of one kind of nation, it would make sense. You're probably all traveling into each other's geographic cities and towns, exploring, and it's great that I think everyone probably has a certain level of kindness towards their fellow UK citizen, right?
It has London, often regarded as being one of the
London. It has London. So we're giving an entire bullet point of why the UK is the best country in the world to the existence of London. Now, I'm not saying this is necessarily incorrect, but the US has some good cities. Don't make no mistake. I'm gonna defend it a little bit here, but London is awesome. It's by far the city that U.S. citizens hear about, know about, when they think of England and the UK. London immediately comes to mind.
greatest cities in the world. Love it or hate it, you have to admit London is one of the most important and influential cities of all time. People from all corners of the planet come to the UK to visit, to live, or to study.
Look at this shot right here. This is amazing. I really didn't have this picture in mind when I thought of London. I didn't have anything in my mind. I had Big Ben. I don't know what to tell you. When I picture London, I think of Big Ben and the Queen, maybe taking a stroll by Big Ben. That's as far as my American brain can process London if you were to ask me to draw a picture. So this image here is quite helpful in updating my hard drive a little. Thank you.
In London. Yes, it is busy and it's expensive, but it offers some of the most desirable jobs in the world, and there is so much to do.
I like the incorporation of this little forest, like in New York, has a little area with trees, just like this, Central Park. London has this as well. I think that's beautiful. That's one of the coolest things a city can have, just to add to it.
You'll also find some of the world's most followed sports stadiums in London too. Number 6, safety, climate, and the wildlife.
Safety, climate, and wildlife. Okay, now we're actually getting into like important stuff here. You want where you live to be safe. Wildlife. Does it have cool wildlife? Is that what we're saying? I mean, that would be a bonus.
The figures from the Organisation for Economic Cooperation and Development, which ranks each member on many criteria, including safety, place the UK 11th out of 38 nations for safety. Just behind Canada, but ahead of Ireland, and way ahead of the US, who are in 22nd place.
Okay. So we have the data to support this one. All right, I concede this one. I'll give it to you. The data supports it, that the UK is ranked higher in safety than the US. I totally believe that one. As a US citizen, I totally believe it.
They have the data to back this up too. In 2016, the UK recorded a lower homicide rate than Japan. Perhaps it's no
Wow.
wonder that 77% of Brits feel safe walking home at night alone.
Wow, that's great. That's awesome. I'm jealous. Although, I'm trying. What am I saying here? Personally, I have been fortunate enough to always live in areas of the U.S. where I feel safe. Walking home, I feel safe in my home. There are definitely certain parts of the U.S., like anywhere in the world, where you, as a stigma, or I'm probably not going to walk through there. It has a historically high crime rate or danger associated with it. But I feel like you can find that in all nations all over the world.
Although we love to moan about the weather in the UK, we are very lucky that we don't experience extreme weather or natural disasters, such as droughts, tsunamis, volcanoes, or bushfires.
I think I would rather live in a place that just has average weather. No, never too extreme. I don't want it to be super hot. It gets 90 degrees Fahrenheit, 100 degrees Fahrenheit here, which is quite hot. It's very hot. And all the way to cold winter here with snow. So I would much rather have not experience the extremes and just have an average warm temperature would be lovely. So is that kind of what the UK experiences based on where it's positioned on the Earth? If that's what we're saying, that's an absolute win, and I am jealous.
There are very occasional mini tornadoes and very small earthquakes, but they are barely powerful enough to knock over a garden gnome. The UK is also home to next to no deadly animals such as bears, snakes, or spiders.
Really?
So if you are on an adventure in the countryside, this is another thing you don't have.
You guys just have all the cute, cool animals. None of the bears that'll rip your face off. I've never lived anywhere with bears. But yeah, I mean, people get murdered by bears in the US for sure. It's horrible, sad. But I don't think whatever this is, a possum or something. Whatever this thing is, I'd hate to get killed by it. Although I would guess I'd enjoy how cute it was as it was clawing my face off, maybe.
To worry about. Number 5, the NHS, or the National Health Service. The
Okay.
NHS leads the world in terms of equity of access and ensuring people don't suffer financial hardship when they are ill. It also performs
That's wonderful. That's fantastic. American healthcare is notorious. It is famous for how unequal it can be. People getting left with insane medical bills for life-saving procedures. Access to life-saving medicine and procedures can leave you with insane amounts of debt. That is absolutely true, depending upon what insurance you have access to. It's horrible. It's terrible. I think a lot of Americans would agree that if you're going to have a government, a modern government, I don't want to get too political here. Sorry, I'll I'll control myself. But I think most humans in the world would probably agree. If you're going to have a government, one of the purposes of forming that would be to take care of its citizens. And one of the most important things about taking care of your citizens would be giving them access to health care while not leaving them financially crippled. So it sounds like the UK is much more on top of this than the United States, and for that, I applaud, and I'm jealous, and you win this one yet again. What's going on here? Why are you winning these so much?
well in managing long-term conditions like diabetes and kidney disease, and is relatively efficient compared to other health systems around the world. The NHS usually ranks in the top 10 or 15 in the world for the best healthcare systems.
Wow, that's great. That is, ranking quite highly for many things.
Not too shabby.
The stats back it up.
Number 4, the higher education system. The World Universities listing estimates there are over 26,000 universities worldwide. Now, out of all of those, you could probably count on one hand the number that are global household names, and 2 of them happen to be in Britain. Yep, Oxford and Cambridge.
Yeah, Americans definitely are familiar with somewhat, I wouldn't say in huge detail, but Oxford and Cambridge as universities or places of higher learning. I couldn't tell you any real details about them, but they're certainly known as being on the same level of prestige as Harvard in America, things like that. So, yeah.
They are still the creme of the crop as far as higher education is concerned.
Yeah.
And you've also got Durham too. And the reason for their renown isn't
Durham.
just historical. Across the whole of Britain, the higher education system consistently delivers some of the best results on the planet.
Yeah, especially in regards to Oxford and Cambridge. I'm always hearing about, when I hear about news about medical journals and updates in research and just some of the brilliant minds of the world, of history, they have been a part of or gone to Oxford, Cambridge, and others like it. So yeah, that's absolutely true.
Students travel from all corners of the planet to study in the UK. In
Yeah.
doing so, they will also get to experience UK nightlife and the quality of life and safety that comes with it.
Right, if you go to your fancy pants school in the UK, you also get the bonus is, hey, you're in the UK. You get to experience everything that goes along with being in the UK. Everything else on this list. Wow. How do I sneak myself into Oxford? Is it too late? Do they have a major in American reactions? Maybe I could finally get a degree from Oxford. Okay, I'm done. I'm done with my fantasy.
Number 3, castles and ruins. The UK is old
Yeah.
as hell, therefore it has many ancient ruins, castles, and
Yeah, look at this thing. Oh my god, I don't even know what castle this is, but it's beautiful. Americans eat this stuff up. We love it. Oh, it is so cool, and we don't have anything like it. We don't have cool castles. Oh man, I think that's why we're so obsessed with them. And TV shows with history, Game of Thrones, castles. Man, I just want a castle.
structures to be discovered far and wide. In England alone, there are said to be around 4,000 castles. So if you're from
Wow.
a relatively new country like Australia, New Zealand, or Canada, or even America, then you may
Yeah.
have never seen a castle or ancient building before.
Yeah, I've never seen a castle in real life. Like honestly, that should just tell you something. Look, this is part of this little town. This is so cool. What the heck? If our towns had little castles in them, man, we'd just be happier on average. My God. Okay. Yeah, it's like he said. It just kind of has to do with England, the UK, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland. They've just been around longer, been established longer. Their history is a bit deeper. I've learned about the history of the UK and England in videos just before this one. I reacted to them. And my goodness, that deep history includes lots of castle making. And I'm jealous. I want it. I want the castles. Win again.
So coming to the UK provides an authentic historical viewing. Number 2, discovering countries and the Commonwealth. Britain created countries such as Australia, Singapore, and the USA, in which, in the short space of around 300 years, have become world leaders in so many aspects. No other
Okay.
country can claim to have created anything close to what Britain has achieved. In doing so, its legacy has continued to evolve.
Interesting how this narrator refers to it as the UK created Australia, America, and others. That wording is fascinating to me, just objectively. Do people from the UK view it like that? Like the UK created these other nations? Because I know they certainly had everything to do with their formation, but I think in America we would phrase it differently or view it differently, which is funny to think about, and it makes complete sense that the UK and America would have different perspectives on that, where we would be like, oh no, we claimed our independence, we created America for ourselves, so we broke away and made it, but thanks though for planting the seeds. Whereas here, this narrator is clearly kind of taking credit for the creation of these nations. So I'm not saying either way is a right or wrong way to look at it. I think both are true. But it's just interesting hearing it phrased this way, which I've never heard before, that people and history from the UK's perspective would look at it like that, and that makes total sense.
In so many aspects. No other country can claim to have created anything close to what Britain has achieved. In doing so, its legacy has continued to evolve. Much of what was once the British Empire continues to be part of the Commonwealth, an alliance of 54 nations across the world.
Now this is true. There is this Commonwealth. I don't know much about it. I kept hearing this word as I learned more about the Commonwealth and how I know what an outrageously worldwide reach the British Empire had. And the remnants of that still exists on the flags of many nations throughout the world today. So it's undeniable that the UK, Great Britain, has had a hugely enormous, substantial impact on the history and formation of tons of the world. So there's no denying that. I will totally agree with that.
With a combined population of over 2 billion, long after the empire has ceased to exist. Number 1, inventions.
Oh.
The UK invented most of the technology that the modern world runs on.
What?
The TV, the computer, and the World Wide Web.
What? Really? See, I never even stopped to think about any of these. I've never looked up who invented the internet. It's not like I use it much. It's not like I'm existing there right now, trapped in this little internet box. Help me, please. Please let me go. Anyway, so televisions? Computers? Internet? The most important inventions of our time, you could argue, of modern society? That's amazing, to say the least. That is insane. I want to hear that again.
That the modern world runs on. The TV, the computer, and the World Wide Web. And while Marconi was Italian, he developed his wireless radio transmission in the UK. The list of British inventions is endless. The UK also developed most of the world's most popular sports, such as football or soccer, rugby.
Oh, really? Did soccer start in the UK? Wow. Football, as a UK individual may call it, but I'll call it soccer. That must be hands down the most popular sport in the world. So, that's again insane.
Cricket, tennis, and golf. The
tennis,
UK is
golf?
a world leader in the art.
Tennis and golf? What? How did so many things start in the UK? I guess it makes sense though, because I was just talking about the deep history of its existence and influence over the world, so it makes sense that so many things, so many inventions started there.
Arts, particularly literature and theatre, from Shakespeare to Andrew Lloyd Webber, from Chaucer to J.K. Rowling. We've also had a big impact on music, TV, movies, and video games, such as Harry Potter and James Bond. So there we have it. 10 reasons why we think the UK is one of, if not the best country in the world. Countries. Of course, as we mentioned before, it's not perfect. It does have many issues. But as a whole, it is a very safe and friendly country where...
I'm digesting this right now. I'm just digesting what I just heard. Kind of crazy.
People from all across the world decide to emigrate to. So, what is your thoughts on the UK? Do you live here? Perhaps you've never been before and you'd love to visit. Let us know in the comment section below what you think. If you enjoyed the video, please feel free.
I did enjoy that video. The Geography Bible. I give you a like for sure. I did like that. Oh my gosh. I am far more convinced than I ever imagined I would be. I'm a little scared. Alright. This video of 10 reasons why the UK is the best country in the world had some really compelling points. I not only learned a lot, but I learned some things that got me shook, got me shaken. There were a bunch of things about the UK in there that just made it seem like a really fantastic place to live. And then there were others that just blew my mind with what it has accomplished. Pretty amazing. Now, I don't know if I personally am prepared to label any country on Earth the de facto best one. I think that's silly. I think that's kind of a narrow point of view to say that, although I certainly wouldn't be mad if anyone did for fun or out of personal pride. But personally, I would just say that the UK is amazing. I am stunned by what I have learned here today. And yeah, that was really fun. I really enjoyed this video and all the stuff in there. But anyway, wow. So if you enjoyed this video, this reaction, feel free to give it a like or leave a comment. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to UK things, culture, ideas, news, places, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.